right, so I've got the wiring just about done here. Let me show you guys over the top here how it looks. And I'll clean this up just a little bit more, but I just wanted to show you guys where everything's at here. I did end up getting the power wires for the stereo wired up. Also, one thing for the Dakota Digital dash is the brake light here requires ignition power. So what I did is I used this wire that's coming out of the bundle here, and I put a connector on it basically. And this was basically a power wire, ignition only power wire for aftermarket gauges. So I used this to send power to this brake light right here. So I'm good to go there. And let's take a look at the bottom. I'm getting ready to get that steering column put in here in a minute. So, but I just wanted to show you what everything looks like. Everything got wrapped. And also the brains for the Dakota Digital are laying over there. I'm gonna get that all terminated and cinched up here shortly. But I just wanted to show you guys where I'm at so far. Hey everybody, thank you for watching Weekend Garage. I know it's been a while, sorry about that. You know, the last couple of weeks, life gets in the way. I was trying to get onto this because I'm trying to hurry up and get this car finished here in the next month or two, believe it or not. So I'm real behind right now, but I've just about got the dash completed. All right, so as I'm getting things wrapped up for the dash wiring, I pretty much got everything done with the exception of the steering column. That's going to be done shortly here, but there's a couple of things I wanted to point out to you all. I already talked to you about the brake light here needing its own ignition 12-volt power source, which I did end up getting off of the American Auto wire harness. Another thing that I did not mention is the Dakota Digital controller requires a constant 12-volt power source. So what I ended up using is this clock power wire. Now this is for the factory clock. So this is a constant 12 volts, and all I did basically is I put a connector on it and use an 18 gauge power wire to run over to the Dakota Digital controller. There's something else that I wanted to point out as well regarding the connectors. Okay, so what I ended up doing with these extra connectors is I went ahead and basically blocked them off. We don't want anything just vibrating or just dangling in there that's live, right? And then we can have some problems if that happens. So I basically blocked everything off on these connectors. This one too, here, I just blocked it off with tape. Even the heater resistor here, I did that with this connector as well. I blocked it off. Again, it's just strapped to the frame of the dash housing. Okay, so the Dakota Digital display comes with a switch. And the switch is actually mounted in this little plate here. I already took it out. It's a little switch that toggles back and forth. You use this basically for programming and some other things as well. I don't remember, but I might even change the light colors possibly. But anyways, this plugs into the controller for the Dakota Digital. So I was trying to think, maybe I was just going to mount it under the dash there. That would probably be pretty subtle, something you're not going to notice. But a buddy of mine gave me a pretty cool idea who's installed a few of these. And so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to install it in this frame here for the ashtray. So when I drop the ashtray, I'll be able to basically toggle this for programming, and it'll be out of sight, out of mind when I close the ashtray. Another thing that my buddy was showing me as well, and this is actually an option as well with the Dakota Digital, is to get a little pod, a dimmer pod here. Now, I actually bought this on Amazon. I bought a little 2-pack, and it was a lot less than the little pod that Dakota Digital sells. It's a 10K pod, so I want to tell you, if you end up picking some up from Amazon or anywhere else besides Dakota Digital, run a meter on it. Run an ohm meter on it, because I bought some and they were not 10K. So we want to make sure we're not messing anything up. And what I have basically is a step down bit here, multi-bit, that I'm going to do that. The little pod is 13/16, so I'm just keeping an eye on my step bit here so I don't go too big. It's this little tedious stuff that just takes a long time. That's why lately I haven't been showing you guys all the stuff, because I mean, I'll spend like 2 hours doing like the simplest thing, but when you're dealing with precision and stuff like that, you really got to take your time and not rush it. And that better not have gone too far. Yep, there we go. I'm not going to snap it in right now, but I just want you guys to see. I'll show you guys when it's done, but it's going to go there. All right, so the more that I study this, I decided that I'm going to go ahead and put the little pod thing here on the same side as the toggle switch. Obviously, this isn't doesn't require as large of hole to do this. Same process, pretty much. And then we'll see how it comes through. And that actually works out pretty good. So I'll get this fitted in, and then I'll show you guys what it looks like assembled. But I just wanted to show you this idea. So let me get this put together. All right, I got everything all put together here. I got the switches in. Turned out really nice. Check it out. I set the dial too on there to make sure that all the way to the left is pretty much dim, and then turn it to the right, and that turns it up. So got that all dialed in, and the switch here as well, that's all dialed in as well. And what I did for the little pod is I wrapped the wires, because these wires are really coming off the little pod here. These things are real flimsy. It's probably like who knows, just a really thin gauge. So I went ahead and wrapped it with wrap here, and soldered some longer wires on there. I didn't have a black, so I went with the blue, which is fine. And I put a little Scotch lock there for the yellow wire, because that's not needed for this application. So everything's looking good here. I'm just going to get it installed next. All right, I've got the ashtray installed. Let me open it up and show you guys so you can see the switches under there. Everything's all kind of incognito in there. No one's ever going to see it. So pretty awesome. It's looking good. And I have the controller all terminated for the Dakota Digital. Now there's one thing that I need to figure out, because I pretty much have all the wires terminated there, and I may put some wire ties possibly and clean it up maybe. And the reason why I say maybe is because I want to be able to just reach under and pull it out, right? And everything, there's enough length. So I've clipped all the wires to make sure everything's long enough to pull out and drop it on the ground. So this brown wire is my gas tank sending unit wire. So I'm going to have to figure out what I'm going to do. I got to run a ground out to the gas tank, or yeah, or maybe try to just chance it and ground it on the body. So I'm going to call a friend and see what he has to say. All right, so I was getting ready to get the steering column mocked up, and I realized, you know what? I probably want to get the master cylinder installed along with the brake booster and the lever that gets connected on the back of the brake pedal. This way, I have plenty of room to lay down inside the car and get things connected. So, with that being said, I want to get this opened up. You know, it's kind of funny because when I bought the car, actually I think I bought the car in probably around 2014, 2015. And I was going to basically just get the brakes going because the brakes weren't working on the car. So I actually bought this brand new back then, still in the box. And I'm going to go ahead and get this thing open. Obviously it's been open before, but I was curious because I never did open the packing slip. I was curious on the date just to make sure and see if I'm on the right page as far as when I got it. Actually, it says 2020, so that's probably a few months actually before I told myself, you know what, I need to go ahead and take the body off this car and do a frame off. So that must be what it is in 2020. That's the date on here. So let me get this thing opened up here. So the cool thing about this brake booster and everything is that this is basically a factory replica booster that says Delco Moran on it, just like the factory. All right, so let me go ahead and get this thing open so you guys can look at it. Taken out of the packaging here because again, I'll give you guys a close-up so you can see what it looks like, but it's a really nice unit. I'm pretty excited to get something, you know, that looks factory. You know, it's supposed to be factory identical, but so this is what it looks like. You can see the Delco Moraine actually stamp on it. So that's how it came from the factory. But I also have the master cylinder as well, all brand new, ready to install. So I'm going to take a look at a few things and see what's going to need to take to get this thing installed. I will say that the master cylinder needs to be bled. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to bleed this before I install it. I'm not going to show you guys how to do that, but if you look at some of my older videos when I was working on my 1974 AMC Javelin, I showed you guys how to do that, how to go ahead and bleed the master cylinder on the bench. So I'm going to do the same to this and get everything installed. All right, so I got the power brake booster installed. Basically, I just have two nuts on the top here. Thankfully, I was stressing out because I couldn't find the nuts anywhere in my bags of different things. And then luckily I had bought those master kits from AMK Products. So I was digging through my chassis master kit that I used several years ago, probably 4 years ago now. And I actually found the pack of nuts specifically for the brake booster. So I'm basically just getting this thing installed. I'm just going to have everything mocked up, and then I'm going to go inside to see if I can get that connected to the brake pedal. But I just kind of wanted to show you guys how everything's coming along here and on to the next step. Okay, I got the clevis hooked up for the brake pedal. Everything looks good under there. That came together pretty well. I basically just have it... The rod here is adjustable, so I was able to twist that to get it to basically where the pedal is all the way back as I could get it. And so that was pretty straightforward. And then there's the pin that just sticks right through. And there's a cotter pin that goes on the other side as well. So that was pretty simple. Let's get to the next step.